Keeley with the kick out. Into the centre here, where it is fumbled by Brian Sheehan, but picked up once again by a very determined Kieran Kilkenny. And Dublin come menacingly forward once more. Like Kevin McMenamin trying to wrong foot Aidan O'Mahony. Back to Kilkenny. Connolly penned in. Kerry quite happy to try and pen him in, but Connolly somehow eludes the challenge. Looking to try and put three between the teams. McMenamin, it's like cat and mouse. Laid off. McMenamin somehow is dragged down by O'Mahony, or is he?
He is indeed, sure. That's black card territory.
There is. And Aidan O'Mahony, I think, fearing the worst. So referee David Coldrick.
David Coldrick, I think, there's only one decision to make this time. It was a deliberate pull down. We might see Mark O'Shea coming in now, but that's a big blow to Dublin, or to Kerry, if he has to go off.
And it's the black card, and he has got it, and Aidan O'Mahony is black carded, leaves the contest. And the player who is coming in at this stage is Paul Murphy, I think.
Yeah.
And very, very quickly Murphy comes in as a replacement.
Yeah, definitely Mark O'Shea must be injured. There must be something wrong with his hamstring if they didn't pull him in.
Well, it's 10 minutes since Dublin scored, and they have failed to raise a white flag here. Bernard Brogan white.
Is that 3 or 4 whites now in a trot, actually, for Dublin? They're big misses, actually, in a game like this, where it's a low-scoring game.
Only 2 points scored by Dublin in the second half in 23.5 minutes of football. 4 points scored by Kerry in the same time. And Kerry come with Killian Young freeing up Peter Crowley here. Connolly went back, couldn't get in a hand or a challenge. Cross to Donaghy, a diagonal ball, but he fumbles. O'Carroll took it away. Michael Darragh Macaulay urged on by the Dublin following here at Croke Park. Down along the line to Paddy Andrews. Fionn Fitzgerald goes down. He says, Andrews says he picked it off the ground. The referee didn't agree. In as far as Marr now. Change set of circumstances in midfield for Kerry now that David Moran has gone. Brian Sheehan able to play in there in midfield. It's Cooper still pulling the strings. Hardly seen Cooper in there as an inside forward during this match. Cian O'Sullivan. It's only a 2-point game.
Yeah, that was a great intercept by Dermot Connolly.
Fenton should be the goalkeepers. Challenged there by Bernard Brogan. Has a support player. Once again, a nerveless Shane Enright. Out as far as Brian Sheehan. Next score could be very, very important in this match. So delicately poised. Sheehan inside to James O'Donoghue, but again he couldn't take it up. Fenton can. Released outside here to Michael Fitzsimons. Sally's fourth here. 3 Kerry defenders were in front of him. So it's up to Kieran Kilkenny to use his soloing and ball handling ability. Good decision making by Dublin. Recycled, back out to Fenton again. And the 22-year-old UCD student plays it to his right-hand side. Paul Flynn has scored once in the second half, and he has scored a second time. And the next point in the game has gone to Dublin, and they lead by 3. 10 minutes to go.
Oh, but credit Dermot Connolly with that wonderful vision, delightful pass, excellent finish, it must be said, from Fenton. But Connolly has had a very influential second half. Calm and measured in everything he has done. Great score.
Darren Daly has come on, and Cian O'Sullivan, who has given an hour of wonderful effort for Dublin in spite of injury, goes off. And Barry John Keane is the next one to come in, number 21.
By all accounts, Jerry, he's been the form team or the form player in training. He's coming in from O'Donoghue, who hasn't had the best of days.
Last year's Footballer of the Year. Never quite showed us his full range of skills in this match. But then he started the year with an injury which curtailed him for a long, long time. Killian Young, Brian Sheehan, Kerry with it all to do. Galvin. Back in here. Sheehan kicking for 45 metres. And kicking poorly. No great pressure on him. Should have been able to do better with that, and he'll know it. Stays at 11 points to 8.
Yeah, well fielded there by Sheehan, but just as that ball went wide, it's interesting to watch actually Colm Cooper remonstrating with the umpires about the treatment he's getting from Philly McMahon, and it wouldn't be surprised actually if the referee comes out and has a word with Philly McMahon about his behaviour.
Well, that may be exactly what we're going to see next. David Coldrick, who handled the 07 final Kerry versus Cork and the 2010 Cork versus Down finals. Very experienced official, and his umpires have indeed brought, as Martin Carney was saying, Philly McMahon's, shall we say, treatment of his opponent. Philly pleads his innocence. Well, I think it's not going to be enough to avoid a yellow card.
Yeah, it's amazing in the replay against Mayo where he attacked and attacked and attacked and left the kind of negativity behind how effective he was, and he has been so good up to now, it's ridiculous to actually pick up a yellow card.
2 yellow cards for Dublin, a black card for Aidan O'Mahony of Kerry. Kicked away by James McCarthy. Kerry have it back. Brian Sheehan once again. Harassed but fouled by Michael Darragh-Macaulay. And Dublin will want to see him take the free kick quickly. A weary-looking Macaulay, even though he's only come off the bench, I suppose, 10 minutes ago.
Well, if anybody can direct a ball from this distance, it's Brian Sheehan. Most wonderful long striker of a ball, one of the great best I've ever seen.
It's 55 metres out, central position. It's within his range. Can he make it? Up into the air, but dropping to the left-hand side, and a missed opportunity. That's 2 in a row now that gone astray from Brian Sheehan for Eamon Fitzmaurice's team.
Yeah,
10 wides for Kerry, 8 points to their credit, but 3 adrift, and now only 7 minutes remaining in the final.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Dublin are still holding the whip hand. Dublin are still dictating the trend of the game.
Pressure there immediately on James McCarthy following that kick out. Pressure from Galvin. Overzealous, however, i.e. fouling.
We have a loving up here on the other side, yeah.
We have a couple of players on the deck. Jim Gavin getting a little incensed about that because his man, Kieran Kilkenny, was one of the players involved. Might just catch a glimpse of this here from the camera behind.
Yeah,
there you are.
Is it? I don't know who it is.
A little drag down there.
Yeah.
His marker had been Jonathan Lyne. I'm not sure that Jonathan was the player involved, however. That ball is kicked all the way down here, and Michael Darragh-Macaulay winning his race with Brian Sheehan, and he kicks it off Sheehan's legs, and he gets a 45. Excellent play by Michael Darragh-Macaulay. His team 3 up, and they will have the next scoring opportunity.
Yeah, the correct decision that time. Great ball though into the corner. Good presence of mind by Michael Darragh-Macaulay. Got the deflection of Sheehan. Just watch it here. Definitely a 45. But at the moment, Ger, I know they're not consumed by panic yet, but Kerry need a goal very, very quickly. If Cluxton nails this, we're going into the last 5 minutes.
I can't remember a goal chance created by Kerry so far.
Not one, and not a quality diagonal high ball into Donaghy since he came in.
Again, an important free, but not as important as the one, of course, in 2011. That one won the All-Ireland after an earlier goal by Kevin McMenamin in dramatic circumstances. But can he make it? It's going away to the right-hand side. He's missed quite a few. He's just got one, but each time he's gone up the field there, a lot of seconds have been used up, and that's in Dublin's favour at this stage. And the time is very much against Kerry with only 5 minutes remaining, plus presumably another 2 minutes of added time. Here's Galvin. Up to Donaghy. They've got to get something special here pretty quickly. Donaghy surrounded by 2 players. Will the referee allow play to continue or pull him for overholding? And he's pulled him for holding on too long. Or has he?
No, I don't think so.
It's going to be a free.
20-metre free, I think. It was held that time, I thought.
He might even opt to throw it up.
He may throw it up. He got the ball that time. He's held down. He does well to get the regain possession. Loses it. I'm not sure why he's throwing up the ball. It was either free in or a free out that time.
Alan Brogan's coming on. Brian Fenton's going off. Alan to come on and enjoy the last few minutes of this at the end of a wonderful career, replacing a young man at the beginning of his. So he throws the ball up at the end, the referee. Donaghy has it. Here's a chance. Oh, Killian Young had the opportunity and he let it slip from his grasp. And and in came James McCarthy, and Dublin can break once again with Alan Brogan picking up his first possession, all the way down to his younger brother Bernard. Back to Alan again, two former footballers of the year, the Brogans. Has options right and left, needs to make his mind up, and his mind was made up to kick it with his left and to boot it over the bar. What an introduction. The hill erupts, sea of blue and navy there, ready to salute a point by Alan Brogan to see Dublin 4 ahead. Can they remain in front? Is there a Kerry response? Killian Young kicks it. It's spilled there by Rory O'Carroll. In comes Kieran Donaghy. Back once again towards Colm Cooper. Cooper looking for reinforcements. They're too far back from him. And eventually it is kicked forward. Here's Paul Murphy. Out by Michael Dara-McCauley like a basketball player. Flipped it away. In the end, the ball is handled on the ground. It's going to be a free out.
Kerry are protesting actually that Donaghy should got a penalty that time, but going back to that miss by Killian Young, the break-up field in the score, that was the seminal moment in the match.
Kevin McMenamin holding on. Again he moves forward with power and with menace. Three of them are after him. Paul Murphy, one of them. The other there is Fionn Fitzgerald. And in the end it is touched off the defender. Or is it? Now the umpire says it's gone wide.
I certainly thought that was a 45. Great play by McMenamin, holding onto the ball, very composed in possession, drawing three players into it. Just watch this time. Great opportunity. Oh, Killian Young just panics a little bit, doesn't keep his eye on the ball. Chance goes a begging.
Kerry come. They need a goal. Galvin. Knocked across here by Brian Sheehan. Jonathan Lyne. Again inside towards Donaghy, 2 against 1, and the backs get it out, and they get it out to the security there of James McCarthy. That's John Small there, fouled by Donegal Walsh. Free kick for Dublin. They take it quickly out as far as Alan Brogan. They got that last point. Michael Dara-McCauley now carrying it forward in leisurely fashion. We approach the 69th minute. Well, McCauley again here. All the advantages resting with Dublin at this stage.
They have completely derailed Kerry, it must be said, Gerard. Their tackling has been venomous, they've been very disciplined at the back, and their structure has worked to a T.
I'm not sure to what extent the extra match against Mayo has helped Dublin. I think it certainly was of quite a considerable use, but that's an awful ball by Cluxton. Donaghy gave it in as far as Donegal Walsh, and Donegal Walsh then, the referee has decided, was hauled down. Bemused-looking Paul Flynn looks on. Free in.
Well, certainly I didn't anticipate the deficiencies that we have seen in Kerry today. They have been so badly beaten up front. You know, the three inside forwards that have so much quality of Cooper, Guinea and O'Donoghue never made the expected impact. And it's all down to the fact that the Dublin defensive system worked with, it was so efficient, it worked to a T.
Well, again, Donegal Walsh, the player who's being attended to here, the referee having words. You can see that Colm Cooper and earlier on there, Kieran Donaghy very frustrated. Just not going their way.
It's not going their way, and you know, Dublin have applied unremitting pressure, you know, at different times throughout the game. Should be more ahead.
Take a look at this again here. This was the incident there.
I don't know, Ger. I don't know. It's a hard. Okay, maybe. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. There's just a contest for the ball. Conditions maybe played a part in it, but I do not think that there was a penalty. The boys tonight will obviously
well, no penalty was given, and that's all that matters right here and now. Anybody can analyse it afterwards, but right now the referee makes the decision. Kerry are 2 scores away from even levelling this matchup. 4 points adrift. So what's Sheehan going to do? Put it over the bar quickly and hope that they get an opportunity getting a goal.
Well, there'll probably be enough time to get another attack if they can get forward with the ball, but I'd say he'll just chip it over.
We're in injury time, as you can see. We'll be anticipating 2 minutes of injury time.
It's a little bit more, Ger.
Referee having words there, and cards about to be flashed. One of them was Kieran Donaghy, the other there to Rory O'Carroll.
And I think that all goes back to the incident, maybe, which was a marginal call in all fairness, Ger, but
Brian Sheehan to take this. All he can do is try and tap it over the bar, which he does. So now it's a 3-point game. Brian Sheehan's pointed free, 12-9 now. And now finally we're being told it's a 4 minutes. Finally they raise the board, a minute and a half into injury time, and tell us that there are 4 minutes to go. So 2.5 minutes remaining.
Well, I think
this team needs a goal.
Yeah, very much so, but I think that's an appropriate amount of time because there's been quite a few stoppages.
Galvin went in and challenged. Well won back there. Darren Daly out to Michael Darragh Macaulay, and fouled by Brian Sheehan unceremoniously.
Yeah, good play that time by Macaulay, holding on to the ball, drawing the foul.
Down towards Bernard Brogan here. Needs to just hold it up here now. Such a good target man. Again, it is Shane Enright who is fouling him there, and they're calling up the goalkeeper once again, Stephen Cluxton. Once more the target, and the tactic rather surely will be to try and use up some precious seconds. He's not going, however.
If he's going, he's certainly taking his time about it. I'd say at this ball, they take as much time as possible. Put it dead. That's the main thing, Ger. Put it out of play. If they can score, well and good, but don't drop it short.
Well, he's going eventually. And let's see how many seconds are going to be used up before this free is taken.
Well, he's coming out of it. He's going back now. There's indecision there. It's like the slow boat to China.
Well, he's now been told to go back. Brian Sheehan has got a yellow card. Wretched afternoon for Kerry, by and large. Only 9 points on the board. 3 behind. Dublin with an opportunity now to kill it off here with another score. Diarmuid Connolly, an impossible angle, so will he try and recycle this one? He's capable of anything, we know. Again, the seconds tick away. We're well and truly into the 4th minute, and the ball hasn't been in play, I would say, for the last 90 seconds. The referee should add time on. Does he make it here? No.
Oh, this tackle now is essential for Kerry, and you know, even when they brought in Donaghy and jettisoned the system that they had in the first half, it has made no difference.
Back from Fionn Fitzgerald to the goalkeeper. The amateur whistlers from Dublin appealing to the referee. There's still seconds. Surely there'll be another minute after this for the wasted time. Peter Crowley. Darren O'Sullivan. Held onto there by Barry John Keane. In it goes towards Donaghy. Hands reaching up for it, but it's a Dublin pair of hands that take it down. James McCarthy heroically getting to that one, winning the free kick. And again, Philly McMahon saying to Alan Brogan, no hurry.
Absolutely
3 in front.
Well, certainly that backline today has set a benchmark in brilliance the way they have played. They have been superb. They haven't given the Kerry attack a sniff of it. And they're the crowd that really deserve, the sector that deserves all the plaudits.
Cluxton back out here as far as McManaman, but it's all over! Dublin have won the All-Ireland for 2015. Johnny Cooper and all the others. Kevin McManaman celebrating with the fans. Sam Maguire will be spending the winter in the capital as Jim Gavin's team see off the challenge of Kerry. Disappointment for Kieran Donaghy. Delight for the goalkeeper. Delight for McManaman. Delight for everybody. And they have won back the title that they last held just 2 years ago. What a day for these Dublin players. The subs come on there. Tomas Brady, one of those who didn't play today but played his part during the championship. Bernard Brogan, of course, again. So once more, Eamon Fitzmaurice has seen his squad undone by the Dubs. Jack McCaffrey, a point scorer. And what an afternoon for Dublin football. They win by 12 points to 9. That's the 3rd time in 5 years that the Leinster champions have accounted for Kerry in the championship.
Yeah, that's actually when you look at it.
So let's go down and let's get some comment.
Ian O'Sullivan, congratulations. How does that one feel?
It's just words really can't describe this feeling right now. It's absolute euphoria. Winning an All-Ireland final with these lads is just an absolutely amazing feeling.
Is it extra special given that it was against Kerry and they were the All-Ireland champions?
Yeah, I suppose so. You know, the perception out there would have been Kerry would have been, and ourselves are probably the top 2 teams in the country. So to win it in the fashion that we did, to beat the top teams like Mayo and Kerry, yeah, it really makes it extra special.
You were supposed to be injured. It didn't look it out there.
Yeah, no, thankfully I came through the injury over the last 2 weeks after. So special thanks to our backroom team, especially Kieran O'Reilly. The work he did was absolutely phenomenal, and it was a tough 2 weeks, but definitely worth it to get to play on the pitch here today.
Now, you've played a vital role for Dublin this year, and a different one. I presume you've enjoyed it, given the impact you've made.
Sorry?
The different role you've played this year, I presume you've enjoyed it, given how vital it's been to the team.
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. Probably my natural position in there, number 6, and just glad that I could have a positive contribution to the team this year and help us win in All-Ireland. That's what it's all about. It's not any individual, it's a team, and that's what makes it so special, being able to share this moment with
GAA President Eogola Farrell presents Sam to Stephen, and the Dublin captain lifts it aloft as the Dubs are crowned champions for the 25th time. Champions for 2015. Party time in the capital. They do it in twos. They won it in 2011. They won it in 2013.
He was saying a little bit earlier on that it wasn't just a victory for Dublin, but a comprehensive victory.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think there have been very few more comprehensive victories by 3 points in an All-Ireland final. It could have been 10, it could have been worse.
Absolutely.
I think Dublin overran Kerry, and all the good players were on the Dublin side. James McCarthy, Cian O'Sullivan, Philly McMahon, Brian Fenton, and their subs made a big impact. Whereas if you go through the Kerry team, you couldn't really see any Kerry player who played up to that same sort of standard. It was a poor enough match now with the conditions, even allowing for the conditions.
Yeah.
I thought the standard of foot passing was very poor by both sides, but Dublin, much the better team, and shouldn't have to rely on the referee decision where he should have given Kerry a penalty near the end. It should have been out of sight, 7, 8, 10 points at that stage.
Yeah, Joe Kerry were lucky they weren't littered out there. Like, I mean, Dublin showed the heroism and the courage, you know, exemplified by the time Brian Fenton went through. Could have had an easy point, went for goal, and Star was brought on far too late. I mean, Kerry only crossed swords with the Dubs whenever Donaghy was brought on. And it all brought to mind something that Tim McGuinness said to me. He said, you know, before they played Dublin last year, he said the mindset was, look, if we don't play 100%, if we don't go for them, they'll annihilate us. When it came to the final, our mindset was, let's not screw this up. And Kerry played, it was all head today, no heart. They didn't at any stage penetrate the Dublin zone. They played around the outside, it was all head. You could see that the Dubs went for it throughout, and the Dubs got their entirely just reward and have established themselves as the preeminent team in the country.
Pat, it's not too often that a Kerry team would arrive in an All-Ireland final and basically get swung around a small bit, and I'm afraid that's what happened today.
Yeah, no ifs, no buts, no maybes. Comprehensively beaten. I mean, Dublin missed 2 goals and kicked 9 wides in the second half. They should have been out of sight. Normally a Kerry team come into Croke Park, they come with belief, but they play with a swagger.
Yes.
They're on the front foot. Today, there was no swagger. They were on the back foot, and you have to hand it to Dublin. Tactically, they outperformed Kerry everywhere. Their defensive system was brilliant. Forward movement, great. They won midfield. They won every individual battle that was to be won. I was particularly... I mean, look, the bottom line of Dublin, when Dublin bring their A game, and their A game is high tempo, on the front foot, there is no team in this country can match Dublin in terms of pace, athleticism and strength. And I agree with Joe. I mean, we questioned their character when they drew with Mayo on the first day. But, you know, they showed the character when they were 4 points down against Mayo with 25 minutes to go. They displayed great character. And we saw great character there today. They were by far the best team there. And what I really, outside their work rate and movement, what I was really impressed about was their tackling. And we accused them of being ill-disciplined in the drawn match against Mayo. Today, 1 free conceded, and that was in the 70th minute. So well deserved, no ifs, but...
We'd have to say, Pat, part of the reason for that was that Kerry didn't engage with them in there. Kerry played around.
They were very tentative.
And I'll tell you something else that's interesting. Mayo were becoming the best possible dress rehearsal for an All-Ireland final. I mean, you look at that.
Yes, but there's nothing worse than after a big game, if you're a player, and you go home after and you say, we didn't even go for it.
Yeah.
And the Kerry players individually or collectively will say to themselves, we never really got
No,
that.
apart from Donaghy.
Because the
when
thing about
Donaghy
this,
came in, he
Colin,
made a big difference.
it was. we know, a clear-cut victory. And yet, during the week, talking to people about this match and discussing it with people, the number of times that draw was mentioned, everybody was checking what date is the replay.
Yes. Well, I certainly would have thought it was going to be very close. But like, it was a comprehensive victory. Dublin murdered Kerry. It didn't appear on the scoreline as that. And the Kerry players are going to spend the winter thinking to themselves, we had 70 minutes, we never really got out.
And yet Starr had a penalty turned down, and also when Starr took the ball that time and set up Killian Young for the goal, and Killian Young slipped, I started to think, Fitzmaurice is going to pack up the devil. So I was thinking back to last year when they got the 2 jammy goals to win the All-Ireland. But today, really, it would have been a travesty.
There were those chances, Pat, and we will have a look at them a little bit later on in the programme.
But in terms of the quality, obviously the conditions led to a very scrappy game. We didn't get the spectacle we thought we would, but in terms of the result, I think it was hard to argue with the outcome. I think Dublin probably controlled the game for long periods, particularly at the third quarter when they could have kicked for home and they had goal chances. Kerry will be disappointed. They never really got a purple patch. They never really got a fluid period going. But difficult game, difficult conditions. But from a Dublin perspective, it's a huge win. It's 3 All-Irelands in 5 years. These are a special group of players. We've said a number of times in this programme, and to deliver 3 All-Irelands with 5 Leinsters and 3 National Leagues, is a huge achievement, and it's a great night, I suppose, for all the Dubs to celebrate and enjoy.
And Kevin, I think it's important too to acknowledge that the conditions were dreadful. They are 2 really attractive teams, which is why we're disappointed. But by God, the conditions, I don't think television showed how bad the conditions were, so they really had to dig in to win that. Yeah, I think all the analysis we do tonight is framed by the conditions, and, people at home should keep that in mind, that, obviously the skill levels drop. Well, we'll have a look at the weather conditions. Obviously the skill levels drop, speed of execution sometimes is not an advantage any longer. But I would say that I agree with Kieran throughout. No issue for me. Dublin certainly aren't flattered by a 3-point margin. The conditions probably kept it tighter than it really was. I would have said a 6-7 point margin. That wouldn't have flattered Dublin in any way. Poorish first half, tight, competitive and all that. But again, everything framed by the conditions. And it doesn't get away from that. I think, but there's a combination, I suppose, the way modern day football has gone, and even last year's final, the key threats, the tactical battles between 2 managers sometimes can lead to the game doesn't live up to the spectacle we all expect, but it's still enthralling and it still keeps everybody in the edge of the seat. And Tomas, I know you were obviously disappointed for Kerry, but they didn't get into the game in the way they have done generally this year in the last couple of years.
No, Des, I don't think they did. I think they'll be very disappointed tonight. I was just saying to Kevin before we came on air, it was the first time that this team, since I've left the team, have had a heavy defeat, and they'll be hurting now tonight. I don't think they shut up. I think Dublin, in fairness, they actually tactically got it right. It wasn't, the conditions were tough. It was a tough game to play in. It was, there was no open scoring. It was a poor game of football if you're watching it, from outside of Kerry and Dublin. It was a poor game of football, but from a Kerry point of view, you'd have to be disappointed. I don't think they showed up. I don't think our forwards played well. I don't think our defence played well. Midfield, I think we were all talking the fact that if we got Cluxon to kick the ball out, and which we did, and I think Dublin more than
about 50% of them, I think.
And they played very well, and I think that was an issue where people expected Kerry to dominate, but look, they'll be back.
Aren't you always? All right, well, we'll look at the game obviously in more detail, but for now let's go back to Michael at the Dublin Team Hotel, where he can reflect on their great day.
Yeah, we can indeed, Des. They're in boisterous humour here, I can assure you, at the Gibson Hotel. And why shouldn't they be? Because they've been watching, of course, the Sunday game and the highlights of the match, and naturally living it all over again. I'm sure it'll take another day or two before the 2 men beside me get a chance to watch it properly. Jim Gavin, the Dublin manager, and Stephen Cluxton, of course, the Dublin captain. And gentlemen, first of all, many, many congratulations. Jim, this must be an incredible thing. I know no manager wants to talk about himself, but nonetheless, you have now presided over 2 All-Ireland wins with Dublin, and that's obviously special.
It is, yeah, but it's a players' game, and myself and the management team, we were asked to do a job by the county board a few years back, and we were really there just to facilitate the dreams and the visions of the players, and it's just a privilege to work with the likes of Steve and the rest of the guys. they're a credit to their county, credit to their families, and it's a privilege to work with them.
And I suppose, like, the point about it is, Jim, there's a good squad of players there in Dublin, but nonetheless, last year it didn't work out. Like, that was maybe a reality of, to look, it's all right having a great team of players, but you need something else as well. What was different this year?
I think look back to last year, you know, we were beaten by a better team of the day, and it's one thing we always ask the Dublin team is the players just to go out and you know, play to the best of their ability. Last year, Donegal beat us. They were the better team and a fantastic team that they were, and this year, you know, the guys played to their potential, and we just got over the line against Kerry.
I reckon, by the way, that the best question of the night on the Sunday game so far came from Stephen Cluxton, because Stephen said to me a minute ago, by the way, what was the score in the match? And you know what? I didn't know. I'm not sure if you knew actually what the score was, but it's like that sometimes, Stephen, isn't it? When you're in the middle of it, you get so caught up in it. Okay, you know you've won at the end of it, but the details of it will come some other time.
Yeah, I think it's important that this team, we stayed focused on the process, and we didn't let ourselves get distracted by where we were in the game, the result, the points difference at a certain time. And as Jim has always harped on about, it's all about, you know, sticking to the game plan till the very end. So I know I didn't know the score.
I know, yeah.
So it's unfortunate.
on a personal level, I mean, obviously you've been a member of the Dublin panel for quite a number of years now.
Too long.
But the last couple of years, obviously, Stephen, have been, as I said to Jim, they've been very, very special, because these are good days to be a Dublin football.
You need to address, Kevin, is the weather conditions that, as you said, dictated the